So I was in my buddy's live stream today, right? Just in the chat, because I'm at work and my job has, low focus requirements. So I'm just chillaxing in chat. But then I ducked out for a moment because I was like, you know what? With everything crashing right now, I'm just gonna start buying shit. Like things are on discount, baby. And like I'm not a finance bro. I'm not a fintech bro. I'm not one of those douchebags. But listen, when the dollar's down and you gotta get some cashish, you gotta go out and buy some stocks, buy some shares. We're out here pumping, dumping the S&P 500, baby. It's like playing crypto, but with something that people like have a regulatory interest in and aren't there to just kind of take your cash. Because let's be real, I can take the dips in the 500 stocks that are supported by the kingmakers, and I know I'm going to get bailed out. Like I'm buying shares in banks, you fuck. Why on earth would I be concerned about them dipping and crashing? Oh, they're getting bailed out, baby. We're just here to liquidate your wealth. Oh, it's a pirate's life for me. The thing is, right, naturally for us, we're Australian, and finance and government like policy stuff are basically the same thing. There's no distinction between being an economically active person and being a politically active person in this country, partly because we have mandatory voting. It's literally impossible to opt out. So it was, genuinely, I felt bad because like there was a dude and he just like stopped in and I was like, oh yeah, like I bought some shares. And my buddy was like, oh yeah, because the tariffs on some penguin island. And I was like, yeah, pretty much, like gonna buy things when it's dipping. And this dude just goes, ew, politics, and leaves. And it's like, we are talking about money, okay? And it's really cute seeing that interaction because Australians have a weird relationship with finance. I've noticed we have like this online niche where we essentially operate in two conditions. Condition one is we make fun essentially of Crocodile Dundee because that's what the rest of the world thinks. And to be fair, my friend Timmy did have a pet xenomorph when we were young. And Timmy's mum was like, listen, I know it's a monster. And Timmy's like, yeah, but I'll feed it on the weekends, mom. And so she let him keep the xenomorph, like Subject 6 is out here just like, being a Disney princess and everything. And that's kind of cute, that's kind of fun. But the other half of us, we talk about two things, which is how much we hate our government and how much we love the idea of being wealthy enough to not have to deal with them. Because there is a certain point, right? You're either paying no taxes and you're broke as fuck because you're paying no taxes. You have no money. Or you're paying about 50% true tax rate after like all the random little add-ons get added in, because we get double tax, triple tax. Fuck, I don't know how many times I get taxed by fuel, but I do know that I'm getting taxed about an extra 50% for every dollar that I spend on booze. It's just not right. So naturally, it becomes like a kind of normal thing for us to talk about. And there's a real disappointing subset where they discuss financial advice that they've heard regurgitated from American finance bros, and then they're like talking about it, but in an Australian accent. And fuck me, it's gross. Because first, I know that the things that you are talking about do not work in the country that you reside, which means you need to make one of two things very clear to your audience. First, either you left here and you're applying these principles where you talk about finance and then you use that to sell a book, or you're here and you're trying to scam people because you did not make money the way that you are claiming. Like, no one's out here being like, oh, yeah, I started a lawn mowing franchise and I bought all the equipment and then I went and I got money because my neighbors paid me. Like, no. All right. The way you make money being a lawnmower in Australia is you go and get a contract with the government to mow their lawns. You get a contract with some mining exec and you're like, hey, I'll mow your lawn. And then you realize that these people fucking live in the middle of nowhere and they don't really have lawns because they just put gravel down And you're like, well, I could handpick these weeds, but I'm not going to. That's fucking retarded. So I'll just spray it. And yeah, that's it. That's These are not realities that exist for the people that are discussing them. The reality of getting money in Australia is essentially what we do is we gamble. Okay, the average Australian has $1,000 worth of gambling debt, and I understand the way averages work. Yeah, that means that someone has 100 grand of debt, and like 100 other people have $0 of debt. But that's not really the point. The fact that on average we have $1,000 worth of gambling debt means that there is a desperation in this nation. And you can hear it anytime anyone talks about money. And the way that the money discussion always cycles back to either some libtard brain fucking, or it's the corporate greed, like a fucking boomer, or it's, I just really like the regulatory bodies to get the fuck out my way because I think that I could provide a valuable service to people and I think they would pay me for it. But like, neither way is going to happen. Like, we don't even have the internet infrastructure to be able to start developing proper software. Like, you would think the desperation would drive a thriving tech sector, but there's no ability for that to get funded in this nation. Because if someone funded the tech sector, the government would want the gift tax that they gave the person developing the startup. And then on top of that, they'd want that startup to also pay around a quarter of that money in a tax again to them. So you're effectively doubling the required donation to get the effective startup off the ground because daddy government needs its money. Because it needs to pay about 40% of the population out of its own pocket. Because we have 20% of the people working for the government and we have 20% of the people living on government benefits. I know I don't count in either sector, but I do know that I've worked as a government contractor before. And when you're a government contractor, you don't factor into that statistic. But baby, we're approaching that 2011 GFC-style Greek island outcome where we've hired contractors to work in gardens at hospitals that don't have plants. Imagine mowing a lawn on someone's gravel fucking driveway. Well, that's the kind of level that we're at when it comes to government contractors. We have huge subsidy schemes, and that is effectively the way people make money here. Which is why I feel kind of bad when chat comes in, they're like, ew, politics. And it's like, well, no, we were talking about money. Because it's the same fucking thing in this place. More than half of our GDP is directly coming from a government sector. More than half of any productive output is subsidized, which means it's effectively half of whatever the number says. It's not very good. It's not a good situation to live in. And this is why we all fucking throw our money on red and hope for the best. Because when I go off to work, they'll feed me, they'll clothe me, and they'll house me. They'll treat me like a sugar baby. And, well, I don't need money when I'm on site, baby. So I can chuck half my paycheck down, hope that red comes up, bada bing, bada boom, I'm living life large. And if I do that too regularly, well, the government decides that, hey, that gambling income, that's taxable income. And we want half of it. It's not very good to be here sometimes. But opportunities like the current tariff situation where we are playing bang zoom straight to the moon, hold it with those golden hands, baby. With banking money? Oh boy. Some people's lives are going to change.